You know what? God won't see any of that. The Bible teaches us that's wiped clean. It's gone. What he sees is Jesus standing before him, his perfect, his righteous, his holy Son, instead of this imperfect, unrighteous, unholy human being. That, in as big a nutshell as I've got, is the essence of the gospel that's been proclaimed.
And so the centre of that gospel in what you've said there is Jesus. Okay,
absolutely.
Man's done wrong. Man's got to get put right. Mm-hmm. Jesus is the centre.
Yes.
So anything to do with the gospel has to have Jesus at the centre.
I believe so.
Many other people in their beliefs do not have Jesus at the centre. Mm-hmm. Are we right to try and change somebody else's belief?
Well, in the society that we're living in, the culture we're living in, you're not supposed to answer that with an affirmative. Anybody can believe whatever they like. They can do what they want as long as it doesn't harm anybody else. That sort of attitude, you know. But here's the thing. Jesus was quite clear himself. It's not me saying this. It's not Doug saying this. Jesus said, listen, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. Mm-hmm. Now, he said that. Now, it's up to you to make the decision over whether he was potty or whether he was mad or whether he was God. It's up to you. But actually, don't point the finger at me for believing that. You have to go back to Jesus because he said that. Historically, that's what he said. Is it right to try and change someone's belief? I mean, let's get something straight from the word go. As an evangelist, I am not out to change people's minds. Okay. I'm really not interested in arguing or debating people into the kingdom of heaven. Now, Paul was pretty good at it. He'd debate with people for days, and some people... But even then, most people wouldn't, you know. So that's not my job as an evangelist. I don't believe that is an evangelist's job. I'm after the heart of mankind. Now, there's only one person who can change the heart. And when I say the heart, I mean the whole person. It's not just a mindset. It's, excuse me, it's the whole person that we're after. We need the whole person to be changed. We call it repentance. It's a turning around of a way of life, not just a way of thinking. And only God can do that anyway. So as an evangelist, I would just bring a message that maybe the person hasn't heard before to get them thinking a different way. But only God can do that. But here's the other thing. The question again, is it right to try and change someone's belief? I would say yes, if that belief is wrong. Oh, wait a minute.
Now you're really treading on dangerous ground, you know.
Now, let's ask a question. If someone believes, say your cousin, somebody close to you, somebody in your family, they come to you one day, Doug, and they sit there and they say, you know what? I believe that God has given me the power, my God, not the Christian God, my God has given me the power to drink a pint of arsenic and it won't harm me. Now, this person's got a belief. Now, okay, I'm being a bit daft, okay? But you're going to try everything to dissuade this person from drinking a pint of arsenic, at least in front of you. Yeah. Because you know the hassle that is about to occur, you know? So you're going to try and change that belief. Perhaps he'll say to you, do you know what, Doug, I've learned to fly. And you think, great, where did you learn? Which plane are you using? No, I can jump off a building and I can fly like this. Mm-hmm. Now, as sincere as that belief is, you're going to try and change that belief because you know what the consequences of that belief would be if they were to carry that out and to try and show you from a 10-story building that they could fly. So, yes, if it's harmful, if you believe that a belief is harmful, I think you should attempt to make a change in the way that person's thinking. Now, here's the thing. I know people will say to me, but there's so many religions in the world, so many philosophies in the world. Correct, I agree with that. But here's the thing. Only Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. Only Jesus said that. I can't think of anybody else, other religious leader that said that. Okay? So what's the danger here then? What's the consequence here of having a belief that Jesus is not the way, the truth, and the life? What's the consequence? Like falling off the building, splat. That's the consequence. Your life is over. Well, you know, the consequence of not believing that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life is also death. It's an everlasting death. You will remain forever out of communion with God. Mm-hmm. That's what we believe as Christians, that there's an eternity to have after this mortal coil has been shuffled off, if you like, to quote another famous man. I believe it was Cleese. And you will go on to eternity. Now, there's two places you can go. We believe as Christians you can go to heaven or you can go to hell. Now, the consequence of not believing that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life is that you will not go to heaven. And you will go to hell. So here are the consequences. So is it right to try? Yes, it is. Is it right to beat over the head? Probably not. That's not our job. As I say, I go back to what I said in the first instance. Our job is simply to get the message over as evangelists, to announce the good news. It's God's job to do the rest. It's nothing to do with us from then on in. It's up to God and the individual for the rest to happen, you know. So I would say, you told me not to give you one word answers. I would say yes, I think it is. If it's appropriate to do so, and we believe as Christians it is appropriate to do so, I think it is right to try and change somebody's beliefs on certain things.
How far do you go with that? I mean, in other words, it is certainly possible. You might be on a street corner and you are preaching the gospel and you don't know who you're preaching to. Mm-hmm. And in one sense, well, people do complain about it, but nobody can really honestly honestly claim individual hatred, because you don't know who those people are that are walking past. But somebody comes up and makes themselves known to you, and they're a Muslim, a Hindu, a Buddhist, or whatever they are. How far do you go in debate with them? Do you say to them, this is the message I believe, I'd like you to take it away, consider it, and that, or do you really sort of get involved and say, you've got to do this, you must do this? Because I think the level to what we do and the way that we do it very often comes into the problems that people are having these days.
Yes. Why? Here's the question. Why would a Muslim, a Hindu or a Sikh or whatever come up to you in the first place? That's the question. Yeah. And the answer to that question is because you are saying something that is against what they believe.
Yes.
Okay. And let's not forget that every religion and philosophy in the world is trying to do exactly what we are trying to do as Christians. They all believe that all the others are incorrect. They all believe that they have a better revelation. And they all believe that they understand about the way things work better than everybody else. And this is where we are as Christians. So let's not beat ourselves up about the fact that we're trying to change people's minds. Everybody's trying to change everybody else's minds, whether it's a politician or a philosopher or a religious leader. Yeah. So the reason that person would come up to you in the street in the first place is because they actually believe what you just said is horrible and offensive or whatever, you see. I would say, you know, I'm argumentative. I debate with anybody on, you know, and I have to pull myself back when that happens. It has happened very rarely because we're in a smaller town, you know. But like I said just now, it's not our job to beat anybody over the head with this. If somebody wants to come over and ask questions and listen to answers, that's great. Then get into a discussion. But anything beyond a discussion, which becomes a debate, I don't think we need to go there. In fact, I would even say it's probably wrong to go there on the streets, in as much as that you just don't want to be seen arguing with somebody on the streets when you try. If you do your evangelism with the underscore of love, then you're not going to go too far wrong. And let's not forget the Bible quite clearly teaches that the cross is an offence. And at the end of the day, people are going to be offended by it. You can put things over in as loving a way as possible. You can avoid all the hot words. You know, let's keep away from homosexuality. Let's keep away from all these hot spots that you can keep away from, and you will still get people being offended at you because you're speaking out what we believe, obviously, as the truth. You know, and people will be offended at that.
So we've got to expect people to be offended, but we need not be offensive.
No, we don't need it. Absolutely not. In fact, I think you're doing it wrong if you are being